What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Since at least the recording date of this video is April Fool's Day, I figured why not make a video about the fools of the Intellivision Amico, aka the Amico cult, which I was once a part of, that I admit that I was in deep, and I've been able to withdraw from it and see clearly of how fraudulent this company really is and how sketchy everything they've been doing has become. And the quiet period and the faux unboxing and the lies upon lies upon lies. It's just, there's so many things that are just staring us in the face that you really need to ignore everything and just believe blindly that these people that have never put a console out before, they've tried, they've failed. One of them, the CEO, worked directly on the Calico Chameleon. One of them pretended to be in the industry for a long time. One of them, I mean, there's a lot of different roads you could go down, but fact remains, this entire operation is turning into a sham. So why not make the most of it by talking about the people that have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker. JT. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell for notifications so you do not miss an upload, and hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Now, I don't want anyone to take this personally. This is all in good fun. If anything, if I mention your name in this video, hopefully you can take a step back and self-realize and self-actualize the reality of what you're actually living in and how ludicrous it sounds that you're falling for this right now. But I already know that's not going to work because everything's already been out there. You've been hit in the face, slapped in the face back and forth by Intellivision over and over and over again. And you just say, yeah, daddy, hit me again. But it is what it is. So, without further ado, I'm going to get to this tier list. And I'd say my friend John Riggs, I can call him my amico on YouTube. He gave me the idea for this because he's been doing a lot of these. And I figured, you know what? I should do a tier list. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I think last time I did this was like on Mario Day, like 5 years ago or 4 years. It was a while ago, and I think it was a live stream. I don't even know where that is. But it's been a long time since I did one of these, and I miss doing them. So without further ado, let's hop right into this. And I'm going to start with me. I've been expelled from the cult. I think that's pretty clear. That's the most obvious one here. Get that one out of the way right off the bat. Now let's go through these here. Mike Mullis, the original Next Level Gaming podcast. Now this guy, I didn't know him too well until the end of my tenure as a cult member. And I remember on his live stream with Phil Adam telling him that he would have a date for the console manufacturing date. Didn't come to fruition, and I called Phil Adam out for that. And this guy who held the podcast, and I actually donated money to him on that podcast because I was so proud of him for doing it, for getting Phil Adam and getting some info out. He blocked me right off the bat because I dared question the word of Intellivision. And I hate to do this, but right off the bat, Mike Mullis, you are an S tier. Leader of the cult. Mike Mullis. Oh man. Francois Tremblay. This, he's another one. Oh man. Francois Tremblay, if you're not familiar, he was a former channel member of Smash JT. He actually hit that join button and supported me because I supported Intellivision and he wanted to give me money for that. But then when I decided to be real about it, he immediately withdrew his donations. Here he is.
I'm an Amico fanboy, yeah. I got a cap and a t-shirt, yeah. I don't have the shorts yet. It's gonna be soon, yeah.
Whoa, I was not prepared for that. He's doing that unironically. Like, I wear this ironically. Like, on purpose to be funny about the situation. He's doing it like owning it as a fanboy and trying to convince other people to join the cult. I got Francois. S tier. S tier. The S tier, by the way, are people that are so blind that they will not change their mind. Like, no matter what evidence is presented, no matter how hard you hit them in the face with it, no matter what is said, they are on Team Intellivision until that plane crashes into the ground and explodes, and they'll still be talking about it 5 years from now. That's S tier. That's both these people right off the bat. Next one, Saggy Melons. Saggy's not really in the cult, but she'll like pretend to be for like attention from Tommy, but she's backed off after all this stuff has kind of hit the fan. So she's not nearly as hardcore as the first two. I would say Saggy is she's straight up, and I think she would admit this too. She's straight up using the Intellivision for attention, and once that doesn't serve her purpose anymore, she doesn't care about it. So I would put her in D tier. She's not really part of the cult unless it works to her advantage. Oh man, level 857. Now these guys, I used to be boys with these guys. I've been on their podcast a couple of times, and they're nice people, but they're very gullible. Yeah. And I read some of their comment replies in a Nintendo Life article on a live stream the other day that was so hardcore shilling for Tommy Tallarico and the Intellivision company on the whole that it was hard to read. It was like clear bias and not listening to the other side, just regurgitating every point that Tommy has told them. And for 5 of these guys, all to be on the same page with it is impressive. I do think they can be turned, but right now they're too in deep. I'll put them at A tier. Oh god. Snestastic. Snestastic, for those that don't know who he is, here's a quick overview of him reacting to the Intellivision Amico trailer.
Wolfenstein, Duke Nukem, Commander Keen, Rise of the Triad, those kind of games. And it was very solitary. I was locked away. I was just playing them alone. And my friends were all the same. The only time we'd ever play together would be on the rare occasion that I might stop off at a friend's house before we go out and party. And they'd be playing on their machine. And we...
So, Snestastic has a long history with being a cult member. And it's documented on the Intellivision Amico subreddit. In 2022, after everything, Snestastic predicts the Amico will sell 100 million units. This is not a joke. This is where his head is at regarding this complete abomination of an attempt of a console. The Amico kid deletes his channel, re-uploads his Amico videos yet again to his Snestastic channel. Sketchy. He is hook, line, and sinker on Team Intellivision Amico. And yes, that is another S tier. This is S tier is supposed to be reserved for like the elitist of the elite. And I didn't even go through these in my mind before I started doing this. But yikes, we right off the bat, we already have 3 will not ever change their mind no matter what information comes across to them. That's impressive. That's scary. Next up, we have Go Game Go. I don't really know Go Game Go all too well. I've seen him in a couple of podcasts. Intellivision Forever, I believe, was one of them. I might have interacted with him once or twice. But I look at him as just a casual Intellivision fan that wants the Amico to succeed. And maybe a part of it, like a Saggy Melons, using it to help his brand along the way. But he's not like hardcore pushing it, the gospel of Tommy, from what I've seen. But again, I don't know him that well, so we'll put him at the, it's either B or C. I'll put him at B because he's a hardcore Intellivision fan and he does push it. I just don't know how hard anymore. DJC. This is the unofficial leader of the cult himself, DJC Game Studios. I don't even really need to say too much. He goes automatically to S tier. But let's listen to what he had to say about Dreamcast games getting ported to the Intellivision Amico.
If it comes out and everything goes to plan, what about we're talking about Sega, and you're always like, oh, it's always like the Sonic series or the Genesis series or another Genesis pack. What if they were like, hey, for Amico, we're going to do an exclusive 10-pack of Dreamcast games?
I have no words. Automatic S tier. OEB Pete. Here's the thing about OEB Pete that I really this hurts, because Pete was such a good dude, and he was just like me, hardcore on Team Tommy all the way. I haven't talked to Pete specifically about the Intellivision Amico situation, and I don't even think the cult knows this about him, but I would imagine that part of the Intellivision story is what pushed him off the platform. Maybe not completely, but Tommy and the team over at Intellivision definitely have some accountability for him not even being on the platform anymore. And to me, he's out of the cult. Papa Pete, okay. Papa Pete's another one, just like Go Game Go. He loves the Intellivision. He loves the old school games. He's in it just for that. I think he's in it for the ride. He enjoys it. He's not hardcore pushing the Intellivision on people for the Amico to sell it. He just has the passion for the old school games. We'll put him in the B category. John Riggs. John Riggs was one of the people that was highlighted alongside me and a few others back a few years ago when this thing was first kicking off, and he was saying things like, I gotta tell you, there's sizzle with that steak, it's real. That's when him and I were under the same impression that this was a legitimate console that was going to be mass marketed. A lot has changed since then. John doesn't really talk about this anymore on his channel. A part of me, I haven't spoken to him about this, but a part of me feels like he just hopes and wishes this all just goes away because he sees the writing on the wall. He's not completely expelled, but he's down there with Saggy. If it does become successful for some insane reason that this angel investor comes in and just saves it, or they make this deal to produce the consoles, then yeah, he'll go back to promoting it and hardcore pushing it, I'm sure. But right now, he knows the reality. We'll put it that way. Okay, Bacon Ice Cream Productions. I'm not sure where Rich is on this one. I'm not too familiar with his channel. I would put him based off of just hearsay and him appearing on podcasts, being a part of the situation. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I'm going to put him in the B tier. And that makes me rethink this. I'm going to move Go Game Go, and I'm going to move Papa Pete down to the C tier, because they're just in it for the passion of the Intellivision Amico. They're not necessarily like cultists, if you will. And I think we need to reserve that for someone who's a fan of Intellivision and a step above that, like someone who wants to push it, but isn't pushing it nearly as hard as, say, Level 857 defending in comments of Nintendo Life, or the people that are just insane maniacs about this thing. Slope's Game Room. Okay, so DJ Slope is, I would say, a good friend of mine on this platform. I enjoy his content. Good dude. I think he is the same as John Riggs and me, where we fell for this hook, line, and sinker on the onset and wish for the best of it. But now we see where it really is, and that we've been fooled. And I don't want to put him in the expelled category just yet. but he's one step in there. He's like, if there was like a way to be like put it halfway through, I'd put him here, because I believe he's making a video on how this is becoming a scam. And I think when that actually happens, we can move him down here. Retro Advisory Board. Oh, Rab. This one's tough. Rab was a buddy of mine. Man. And I genuinely respect Rab's opinions. I feel like he is a very intelligent gamer who thinks a lot deeper on the gaming world and the realm of the video game industry in general than most people, than I would say the vast majority of people on this list. But he still hasn't changed his mind on the Intellivision Amico. And he's one of the ones that I would have expected to wake up when I started explaining my rationale for why I was changing my opinion. And he didn't. He's just a lot quieter on the podcast now. He used to be really into it. But I think he sees the writing on the wall, but he doesn't just want to be a dick to his friends that he's made. So he's just kind of going along for the ride right now. I wouldn't put him in S tier, but he's somewhere between A and B tier. I don't see him defending people or anything like that, and I do think this is all subjective, but I do think in the background he sees the writing on the wall. So I'll put him in the B tier, because he's still a part of this thing. Generational Gamer. I don't know too much about GG besides a few DMs we've had with each other, but he used to be hardcore on board with this thing, just like me, with everyone else, with the podcast and everything. But now, I don't think he is. I haven't seen him push the Amico at all, and with some of the conversations I'd had with him, I'd put him somewhere, just like DJ Slope, somewhere between the D and expelled category. He hasn't officially sworn it off yet publicly, so I think that puts him in the D category. Panda Sub, my man, Panda Sub. Oh man, so Panda Sub's gonna be a tough one because he was really on board Team Amico, just like me, making incredible videos, well edited, and making fantastic points throughout that were original, not just regurgitating what Tommy said, but actual things that he experienced while he played it to let people know why he was excited about this. But he has definitely seen the writing on the wall and definitely taking a gigantic step back from the entire situation. And while he's done an excellent job of towing the line of remaining friends with everyone, I would put Panda Sub, again, somewhere between the D and expelled list. This is tough. This is really tough. I don't know. Is Panda Sub still a part of the Amico cult? I don't think he is. But then he'll show up on the podcasts and talk if necessary. So, yeah, if he does that, he's D. He's D tier. He has to be. Okay. We have stumbled upon the most insane person in the cult, and that is impressive when you look at the S tier. Relic Gamer, automatic S tier. Anything that can be said or done to try to convince him otherwise. I mean, I'm kind of scared to even say anything bad about him based off of reactions that he could give to me. So I'm just going to leave it as he's insane. S tier, automatic. Geeks with Cash, interesting one. Not S tier, but not B tier. He's A. He constantly shows up to the Amico podcasts with DJC, but he's more of a fly on the wall these days. He's not as intense as he once was. Again, I feel like a lot of these people, the common trend is they do this to keep their friendships together. And they're using the Amico as the premise of that, the foundation, if you will, of the friendship. Which is not a great idea when a console is falling apart. Can they manage? Who knows? But they're not loving it because of the console. They just want to stay friends with each other. Because, in my opinion, this is all they have on YouTube. This is what they've grown to because of Intellivision, and they need that to stay together, because without it, They have nothing else. TJ. I don't know TJ very well, but I will say there is a video of TJ that is just, well, just watch it yourself.
Amico friends. Hey, did I just say friends? I did, because Amico stands for friends. This is a new Facebook group, new YouTube channel that I wanted to create for the fun of Intellivision. It's going to be inclusive for families, friends, kids. Keep it PG, G-rated, just for the fun of gaming. Now, there's lots of gaming consoles out there. Majority of what we're going to cover is the super duper Intellivision, because it is a fun gaming console from the 1970s. When I was a wee little kid, believe it or not, what I actually received as a kid, though, let me show you. Magnavox Odyssey 2. Does that mean I can't enjoy other gaming platforms or fall in love with other gaming platforms? You know, friends come in all sizes, shapes, forms, animals, kids, humans, you name it. There's all sorts of different creatures, humans, animals out there. And the bottom line is, you be friendly, you be nice, you help people, and I'm going to try to help folks explore Intellivision.
So this was a video that TJ put together trying to, I guess, start a brand. I don't know, maybe like I'm trying to think of like a kids, like that kids clown show, whatever his name, just to appeal to a younger generation. But it's just weird. It's weird. Like, kids don't give a shit. They don't. Like, if my 8-year-old was watching this video, I'd be like, that's kind of weird. Like, why are you watching that? It's just strange. I mean, kudos for the attempt, but it just comes off as really weird. And yeah, I with that kind of passion, again, don't know him that well, but when you put a video like that together, you're pretty high up. I wouldn't say S tier, because I feel like he's doing it out of the passion, out of just the old school retro gaming and television. But he's also going to be someone very difficult to sway, because his foundation is based off of the old school and television and old school gaming. So he's a solid A tier. And finally, we come to Retro Bro. Retro Bro has had quite a round trip, if you will, for the Intellivision story. At one point, he was definitely the S tier. At one point, he was impossible to shake. At one point, he even was quoted as saying he's the kind of guy that you call to help bury a body. That's how tight he is with Tommy Tallarico. But I think a lot has changed in his mentality. He's taken a gigantic step back in coverage. The source of Intellivision Amico, as he used to say in his Twitter, no longer appears. And he doesn't want to talk about it anymore on his channel. So he's already taken a giant step back from where he used to be with it. And with that being said, initially he definitely was an S tier, I would say. Someone who I would never see being shaken. But no, he actually broke free of that. I'd say I was an S tier at one point too. So it's not impossible, but it's rare. It's rare for an S tier to break free. But he's still heavy. He's still in deep. He still refuses to admit that Tommy was using him. He still thinks Tommy's his close friend. And with that, he's either an A or B tier. It kind of feels like he was an A tier, but since he's kind of sworn off Amico talk on his channel, that it puts him with Rab and Bacon Ice Cream Productions. He is a solid B tier. So that is the Intellivision Amico cult tier list. We have Mike Mullis, Francois Tremblay, SNEStastic, DJC Game Studios, and Relic Gamer as the S tier. And to be honest, before I started doing this, I only thought there'd be like two. I was thinking DJC and Mike Mullis would be the two S tiers, because those are the two that blocked me on Twitter right off the bat when I mentioned anything opposing their point of view, which I am still blocked for some reason. I guess because they just don't want to admit that they're wrong. I feel like I was very cordial about it, and I was unblocked by Retro Bro. He's talking to me again now, and he has explained to me that he understands where I was coming from now. So, yeah, there is hope out there for these elite cultists that exist. But I wouldn't hold my breath. Anyways, I'm going to leave the video right there. Thank you guys if you made it to the end. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, you stay smashing.
Smash J.